What's a better buy, the new 4Runner or Land Cruiser? We'll find out in today's comparison. Toyota and Murray is providing us with both of these rigs. Link to their website in the description down below. Let's get right into it. This week's giveaway highlight is the insane Richard Petty Hellcat. If you're interested, use code BHC or click the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. This will give you 4x bonus entries on any donation, $25 or more. The 4Runner has two powertrain options available, a regular turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic, and then the hybrid version. This one has the hybrid. Fuel economy of the hybrid is really good. It's 23 around town, 24 on the highway. The non-hybrid, if I remember right, is 19 around town, 24 on the highway. Power output differences: 278 horsepower, 317 for the non-hybrid. The hybrid, 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. The Land Cruiser has only the hybrid available, the hybrid 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. 22 around town, 25 on the highway, if you're lucky. Anyways, power output's 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. We're closing in on 500,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. When it comes to design, the 4Runner is a lot more angular with the design and has a more traditional crossover roofline, whereas the Land Cruiser is a lot boxier with the design, so it's kind of more old school off-road SUV. The Land Cruiser also gets cool stuff like color changing fog lights, whereas the 4Runner just has regular old fog lights. Now both of these are rocking 18-inch wheels with tires that are just under 33 inches tall. You can fit 34s on both of these with very minor rubbing. The side steps are the same, but the mirror caps are not. The Land Cruiser has boxy mirror caps, the 4Runner does not. And here's the side profile of the 4Runner. This is where you can see, again, things are a bit more rounded off. Now that is going to lead to a little bit less headroom inside, but less wind noise. The Land Cruiser, on the other hand, is a lot boxier, so more space inside, but again, more wind noise. Now the 4Runner's rear glass is power. It's kind of a 4Runner thing that people love. The Land Cruiser, on the other hand, has just a manual window, so you can still access the back, but it's manual. Now, since both of these are hybrids, you've got the battery that, well, raises the load floor by a pretty large margin. You notice the 2400 watt inverter that comes with the hybrid. There are cup holders and USB ports in the back of the Land Cruiser, but you cannot get a third row. At least here on the US market. Overseas you can with the diesel something. You know, in the 4Runner, 2400 watt inverter. But yeah, the space is even smaller with the 4Runner because of the design at the roof line and everything, so you got a little bit less vertical space. The 4Runner can get a third row, but you have to get the non-hybrid. The SR5 and the Limited, and I think the Platinum have the third row available. Now, boxiness. Again, it's the whole theme with the Land Cruiser. I love the taillights. I think the back end of the 4Runner is cool as well. But seeing them side by side, I mean, the Land Cruiser definitely is just a better looking rig. Now, these new Toyota SUVs aren't exactly known for their space in the back, but I do get my own climate zone here in the Land Cruiser, USB ports. You got these fancy seats. I mean, look at this. Really nice trim in the center. There's also fancy trim on the door panel, and again, with that box design, quite a bit of headroom. Now, the back of the 4Runner, I mean, the space is pretty much identical with the legroom and everything. Just have vents here in the back. Do have another outlet though. And these seats, they aren't quite as luxe as the Land Cruiser. They're not actually quite as comfortable, but they're still really nice with the trim. Same thing with the door panel, not quite as nice looking. And then you got a little bit less headroom with that slope design. 1,100 pounds of payload with the Land Cruiser, and look at this front door panel. The Land Cruiser also has memory seats, power folding mirrors, blind spot monitoring, just regular glass up front. The front seats are also perforated down the center with the Land Cruiser. Power adjustable with lumbar support, and you got a power adjustable steering wheel, trailer brake controls. $895 for the 4Runner payload, so it has less payload capacity. Still has memory seats, still has some nice trim on the door panel. Surprisingly, double paned windows, so it actually has better windows than the Land Cruiser. And the front seat, power adjustable with lumbar support, perforated down the center, and then you have a power adjustable steering wheel. Got 4 auxiliary switches right there. That's pretty cool. Let's fire this up. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so we've got a nice steering wheel. Got kind of fancy trim on it. Practical controls. You have more of like a Lexus-like finish on a lot of the trim here. I mean, even the gauge cluster. Look at that, fully digital. This also comes with a heads-up display. We've got a 360 camera system. It does fill in underneath the vehicle as you move. And then, as for the infotainment system, it's Toyota's unit they have in all of their cars. It's pretty quick to respond. It's got a little short cup bar there on the side. Got our climate controls down below, heated ventilated seats, phone charging pad with some USB ports. And then we have our drive mode select with our multi-terrain select and crawl control. This has a center and rear diff lock. It also has a full-time 4-wheel drive system, 2-speed transfer case, and a stabilizer bar disconnect. Center console is pretty large and in charge. Got some nice trim there. Camera rear view mirror, and then just a traditional center flip top. Now taking a look at the 4Runner. Boom. So full digital. You can change the theme on both of them, so you can have them the same gauge cluster with both of them, by the way. But anyways, the steering wheel is different. It's got like perforated trim, kind of feels a little more rugged, less luxe. I mean, the controls are also chunkier in normal Toyota fashion. I'm not seeing a heads-up display with this. Backup camera, it's identical. So, does it fill in? No, it doesn't. So it's not identical. It doesn't, jump too far. Doesn't fill in underneath the vehicle with this one. So that is a little bit of a difference. I don't really care about that feature too much, but you can see it's the same touchscreen, it's just bigger. And then look at that, we just have single zone climate. Heated ventilated seats though, so that's nice. Heated steering wheel too. Phone charging pad, got the TRD style shifter. Part-time 4-wheel drive system with a 2-speed transfer case. Has crawl control, multi-terrain select, and a rear diff lock. But yeah, no center diff lock because it's a part-time 4-wheel drive system. And then you do not have a stabilizer bar disconnect with this one. Got some cup holders right there, center console. Nice trim on the top. No camera rear view mirror, but we do have a sunroof. The 4Runner is about 63 grand. The Land Cruiser is about 70,000. So there's about a $7,000 price difference. Let's see how they perform. This is kind of nice. Toyota is finally getting some inventory build up in there at the dealerships. So that means that I can finally do some more Toyota comparisons. It's been hard to, you know, get some of these comparisons going on because of what's been happening inventory wise. So let's see how this compares to the 4Runner. I had one of these for a year. I still have a soft spot for the vehicle. I definitely don't feel the need to ever own one of these again in its current setup. But I do think it's a pretty cool vehicle. I love the style. The seats are comfortable. The boxy design is nice for space. And it's kind of like a mini G-Wagon, really. And you know, this engine's got great torque. It's got quite a bit of character to it. It drives more like a diesel than anything else. It drives very much so like a diesel. You just have like a lot of low end torque, not a lot of top end. Not a lot of top end. So yeah, you just kind of ride on the torque, and you get a little bit of turbo blow off every so often. It's nice. Suspension's comfortable. Now obviously it kind of rolls quite a bit with the body. This doesn't have the suspension system that you have in the GX sibling vehicle, that the active variable suspension that can firm up the shocks and everything. It just has regular shocks. They're comfortable, but yeah, you get quite a bit of teeter-tottering. I don't mind though, I don't mind. I love the steering. So even though this is a full-time 4-wheel drive, with the electronic rack, it's no weight really, and it's just super smooth with the performance. Hybrid system's pretty seamless with it turning on and off. But I will say the hybrid in this seems like it's on all the time with the engine. Yeah, I like the little blow off. It's fun. So the Land Cruiser, I mean, it drives like it looks. I think it's a good way to put it. It looks like a truck, you know, an old school kind of off-road truck, and it kind of drives like an old school off-road truck with a bit of body roll, and you know, you go over bumps and you get a little bit of vibration through the frame and everything. It's not bad, but it drives like a truck. Drives like a truck. But it's refined, right? The seats are comfortable. The suspension's kind of nice and squishy over a lot of the bumps. So it's a truck, but it's a refined truck in many ways. So let's go pop in the 4Runner. So first things first, the seats in the 4Runner are not as comfortable as the Land Cruiser, and I feel like I'm in a significantly like more closed off cabin. That boxy design in the Land Cruiser really does help out with making it feel nice and open. Man, this thing, you know, so this is obviously part-time, so that's full-time four-wheel drive, so you're gonna have more power loss. This, it does feel a bit quicker because you're not getting the same level of power loss, having only the power sent to the rear two wheels. Turning radius doesn't seem to be any better though. But yeah, it does feel quicker. It feels quicker. It's very noticeable. The acoustic glass helps out with the sound deadening, but also not being boxy means there's just a lot less wind noise in this. It's still present, but it's minimal. The suspension, I think the Land Cruiser suspension is more comfortable. This handles better. This, I feel like I can zip around corners much quicker. Land Cruiser is kind of more like dopey. It's a better word for it. Yeah, I'd say dopey, kind of like just going along, you know. Yeah, this isn't as comfortable as the Land Cruiser. Now you got the Bilstein shocks with this, versus the Land Cruiser has the, they're not branded or anything, just regular shocks. I mean, they're both solid axle coil sprung. Same platform, same wheelbase. I think the 4Runner is a better value. I think the Land Cruiser is a better car. When you compare, you know, 4Runner hybrid to Land Cruiser hybrid. Now, if we're looking at non-hybrid 4Runner, man, that SR5 is such an appealing package. Just a simple 4x4, less than 50 grand. You can get it with the third row. But yeah, once you go up in the 4Runner lineup, I mean, they got some cool stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, the Trailhunter is cool, the Tier D Pro is cool as well. But that Land Cruiser, just, I like the space, the feel. Even though it doesn't handle as well, I don't really care. I think that I don't know, I think it drives, like I said, it drives like how it looks. It's kind of fun in that way. So, let me know if you go 4Runner or Land Cruiser. I'm still kind of team Land Cruiser, even though it's more expensive when it's this type of 4Runner configuration wise.